I never thought I'd end up working at an Amazon warehouse, but desperate times called for desperate measures, and the bills were piling up faster than I could count. So I took the job, hoping it would be a temporary solution to my financial woes. Little did I know it would become a nightmare I couldn't escape. The warehouse was massive, a cavernous expanse of towering shelves and countless boxes. The ceiling was so high that it disappeared into darkness, and the rows of shelves stretched out like an endless maze. The place seemed to swallow you up as soon as you stepped inside. I was assigned to the night shift, a shift that was notorious among the workers for being eerily quiet. As I walked in on my first night, the hushed whispers of my coworkers made my skin crawl. They spoke of strange happenings, of shadowy figures that lurked in the corners, and of boxes that seemed to move on their own. I tried to dismiss their stories as the ramblings of tired minds, but as the nights went on, I couldn't ignore the mounting sense of unease that settled in the pit of my stomach. My job was simple enough. Pick items from the shelves and place them in boxes for shipping. It was mind-numbing work, and I often found myself lost in thought as I mechanically repeated the same motions over and over. But it was during these moments of monotony that I began to notice things that I couldn't explain. One night, as I reached for a box on the top shelf, I felt a cold breath on the back of my neck. I spun around, but there was no one there. The warehouse was silent, and the only sound was the low hum of the overhead lights. I shook off the sensation and continued working, chalking it up to exhaustion. But the incidents didn't stop there. I would hear whispers echoing through the rows of shelves just out of earshot. The words were indistinct like a language I couldn't understand, and they sent shivers down my spine. I asked my coworkers if they had heard anything, but they just shrugged it off, claiming not to have heard a thing. One night, as I was packing a box, I noticed something odd about the item I was handling. It was a porcelain doll, and it looked ancient, like something from another century. Its eyes seemed to follow me, and its smile was twisted in a malevolent grin. I dropped it back into the box, my heart pounding, and I quickly sealed it shut. As the weeks went by, I became increasingly paranoid. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, that there were eyes on me at all times. My sleepless nights turned into a blur of exhaustion and fear, and I dreaded going to work each evening. One night, as I was working in a particularly dimly lit corner of the warehouse, I heard a soft, mournful cry. It was a child's voice, so faint that it could have been a trick of the wind. I froze, my heart in my throat, and strained my ears to listen. The cry came again, closer this time, and I followed the sound deeper into the labyrinth of shelves. I turned a corner and stumbled upon a scene that would haunt my nightmares for the rest of my life. There in the darkness was a child, or what appeared to be a child. Its skin was pale and translucent, and its eyes were empty sockets, black as coal. It reached out to me, its bony fingers brushing against my skin, and I screamed, stumbling back in horror. My coworkers rushed to my side, but when they arrived, the child had vanished, leaving only the echoes of its mournful cry behind. They looked at me with pity in their eyes, as if they had seen it all before. I couldn't take it anymore. I quit my job the next day, never looking back, but the horrors of that Amazon warehouse continue to haunt me. I don't know what I encountered in those dark corners, whether it was the restless spirits of overworked employees or something far more sinister. But I do know one thing: I will never set foot in that place again. To this day, I can't help but wonder what secrets are hidden in the depths of that warehouse, what malevolent forces lurk in the shadows, waiting for their next unsuspecting victim. And I pray that no one else has to experience the terror that I did, trapped in that endless maze of shelves, with no way out and no one to hear their cries for help.